Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is July the 4th, 2025. It is 7:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I am recording this. And tonight I'm very frustrated because I've been at a 4th of July party all day and I was overwhelmed with people asking me about Ukraine and sharing with me non-stop narratives that are completely false. So I have just arrived back home and I have made the decision to share the truth tonight. There are 7 key lies that are being told, and I'm going to get to those in a moment, and we have to fight against it. So I'm going to ask you to share this video because I'm going to debunk the lies, especially that were coming out of Florida today in regard to Ukraine. Additionally, right now you can see on the air alarm, there are drones flying everywhere. This is on the heels of a massive strike on Kyiv. In addition to that, it is on the heels of the conversation between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, that Putin basically saw that he now has a green light to wage war even harder against Ukraine, especially through the air and missiles. It's going to continue. In fact, Ukraine warning today that up to 1,000 shaheeds per night could be coming Ukraine's way in the very near future. We also know that Donald Trump spoke with President Zelensky, and there was just conversations. But once again, no promises. We're checking into it. We're looking into it. The reality is, once again, Putin is seeing a green light. Now, on the heels of that, Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia tonight, made a statement. He said, "We have made the decision to the special military operation against Ukraine until we ensure Russia's security. We will continue until we have full security, eliminate the root causes, and prevent the recurrence of actions that were taken against Russian citizens in Ukraine." So this is coming out of Lavrov tonight, the foreign minister of Russia, who is green lighting the operation. They call it. It's a full-scale war and invasion and genocide and scorched earth policy that Russia is waging against Ukraine. But now, listen, please, dear ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand. They watch everything, they being Russia, they watch everything that comes out of Washington, D.C. And yesterday, twice, Donald Trump said, Putin's made his decision. I couldn't do anything with him. I can't make any changes with him. That is a green light for Vladimir Putin to continue and escalate this war. Now we're getting news in, and I'm putting information about this. Probably tomorrow I will get this out. North Korea sending up to 30,000 soldiers to help Russia on that borderline so that Russia can have more soldiers for inside Ukraine. Additionally, Shaheed factories, you name it, guys, it's happening nonstop, and it's been green lighted because of policies and because of communications and weapon pauses and misinformation. And even inside the Ukraine, inside the EU, Peter Pavel from the Czech Republic is making a statement saying, coming this fall, I can't guarantee anything because we're having elections. So we're seeing all kind of cages being rattled right now. So of course, Putin, he's seeing the green light. And there's another reason. And yes, I'm getting to the 7 lies that I'm going to ask you to share, please, tonight. Fight for the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Putin, following the Trump call, and the Chinese statement. In my morning video today, I covered this for just a moment, but then the reality of how strong of a statement this is for Russia began to play in my mind. I saw Gertis put out a video on this as well because it's really a big deal and big story. And that is not only Trump saying there's nothing I can do right now with Vladimir Putin. He's made his decision, but additionally China. And we know, I validated it today earlier in the video. If you didn't see that, please go back. I show you where the Shaheeds that were launched on Kyiv today were manufactured by China. There's the parts in them stamped with China. Exclusive, China tells EU it cannot afford a Russian loss in the Ukraine war. It's the same headline from earlier, but the story is getting stronger and stronger, especially on the heels of Lavrov's statement and Putin seeing the green light. I mean, let's go back. It's right here. This is happening right now as the time of this recording. Shaheeds are flying everywhere. Now, this brings me to the crux of this video. And I'm looking forward tonight to seeing your responses and your comments. And I'm specifically asking you to share this because today at the July 4th picnic and the July 4th party, this is all I heard were statements like this. And I shared this today, but I didn't detail it as far as have a rebuttal against it. But it's time for that because it made me very, very angry and upset. It's once again the tweets coming out today from Representative Anna Paulina Luna from Florida. And with all due respect to her as a U.S. representative, if anyone is watching this video and you're in Florida and you are in her congressional district, please call and invite her to come on my stream. I would love to have a conversation with her and ask her where she gets her information and confirmation about these horrendous, slanderous statements that she makes that are lies. So if you're in Florida, please contact her office and say, hey, got a guy here that supports Ukraine, and let's go on and have a chat with him, because I would just pull this up and ask. And I'm going to be fair to her here, because these are all the arguments that I had to fight against today at a July 4th party. And this is why I come home frustrated and I'm asking you to please share this video. Of course, your likes, your comment. Thank you for subscribing and helping us grow and fight for truth. But share this because we need to debunk this. She said, I will not vote for more Ukraine funding. No problem. You get a check mark there, green check mark. You have that right. Zelensky canceled elections. Zelensky did not cancel the elections. Zelensky followed the Constitution of Ukraine during the time of martial law and war, period. You are wrong. Sources say U.S. weapons are being sold on the black market. First of all, when you are a U.S. representative in Congress and you write sources say, you are immediately disqualified. What sources? Tucker Carlson? Steve Bannon? What sources? U.S. weapons are being sold on the black market. They're not being sold on the black market. If anything's being sold on the black market, it's American weapons. Different conversation. He disrespected, in all caps, our president and vice president going back to the Oval Office. Once again, I remind you that President Zelensky did not disrespect the Oval Office. And I love my country. And I love the United States of America. I do not like a lot of things that are happening right now, but I love my country. And as a citizen, President Zelensky did not disrespect the Oval Office. He did not disrespect President Trump or Vice President Vance. He acted with an incredible backbone and patience and mercy and grace. I remind you that it was J.D. Vance pointing his finger in Zelensky's face and talking about, you don't know anything about Ukraine. And Zelensky asking him, have you ever been there? And Vance said, no, but I've heard stories. I guess same stories from where Anna Paulina Luna's hearing her stories from. And it was Donald Trump, President Trump, that put his hand on Zelensky's shoulder. That's a no-no. You don't do that to another elected leader of a sovereign nation. And it was Trump yelling at Zelensky, you have no cards, you have no cards, the entire time that Zelensky's holding the ace of spades in his back pocket with Operation Spiderweb. And trust me, there are many more aces in the back pocket for Ukraine. He did not disrespect the office of the president, nor the president. He was being berated in English, in his third language. Zelensky is a native Russian speaker, learned, speaks perfect Ukrainian, a very good Ukrainian now, and of course speaks English. Surrounded by the U.S. cabinet, cameras, reporters, Zelensky did a bang-up job. That is a lie. Billions have been laundered there in Ukraine. Where's your proof? That is not true. That is a MAGA talking point, and it is not true. They put American journalists on a blacklist. That, once again, is a misinterpretation and a distortion of the facts. Who's on the blacklist? People like Tucker Carlson that are pro-Russia, pro-Putin stooges. Those media personnel that have also been paid by the Kremlin, and it's validated, they are blacklisted. Of course. Peace is the only option. Now, with that, I'll give you a check mark. No problem. But the question is, how do you get to peace? You see, peace is through strength. Peace is not through capitulation. And that does not happen by giving them more weapons. No, what happens by not giving them more weapons is more of this happens, and children are killed every day. And Ukrainian civilians are living in torture every day. Simple air defense, Patriots, interceptors, others. That's not about extending the war. That's about saving lives. And I would hope, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, that you would be about saving lives. Her last few statements, and we'll close out, because I don't want this video to be too long. It's 10 minutes now. I'm going to ask you to share it. Zelensky banned the Orthodox Church. 100% a lie. You guys know, if you've been here or if you're new, I've worked in Ukraine 28 years. I'll be heading back there in a few weeks. Been on the front line for 14 months, and I promise you, the Orthodox Church in Ukraine has not been banned. I don't know where she's getting her information from. It's lies. Now, she can say, I can promise there will be no weapons funding for you. And she, of course, tags Zelensky in it. I can promise. Really? Representative Anna Paulina Luna from Florida, you can promise there will be no weapons funding for you. No, you can't promise that. We're believing and fighting for a change. This is why I'm asking you guys to share this video. We have to stop this madness and these lies. Negotiate for peace. I give an X mark. Why? Because it is Ukraine that has already tried to negotiate for peace. Ukraine still stands by their unconditional ceasefire. But Ukraine will not surrender, and Ukraine will not capitulate, nor should we expect them to surrender or capitulate. They have been invaded, and they are defending and fighting for freedom, theirs and ours. Negotiate for peace? Yes, but not capitulate for peace, because that is what I believe you intend with that statement. And then finally, we are not your piggy bank. It's a colloquialism for those of you that are watching outside of the United States, like a kid that has a piggy bank. They put pennies in it and put it under their pillow or put it under their bed. And it's derogatory. It's a derogatory statement. No, you're not the piggy bank. That's correct. We thought you were a friend and an ally, but that's how you view it. Do you think, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, that you're the piggy bank for Zelensky and that rogue regime? You have no idea what you were talking about. And if somehow anybody in her congressional district in Florida can get this to her, I would invite her to come and have a very kind and open and honest conversation. And we can just put proof against each other and see if we can get some eyes open to the reality of what Ukraine is facing every day, because we have to change the narrative one person at a time. So thank you guys for helping, share, tell, write, do everything you can do, and we fight until victory. And yes, it's getting worse. More drones are coming. In fact, over in this area, reconnaissance drones are up in the air on the border between Khmelnytsky and Zhytomyr and Vinnytsia region. That's typically indicative of missiles coming in. They're putting up the air reconnaissance, and it's going to be another long night for Ukraine. But we fight for them, and we fight with them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, commenting, liking, subscribing. You guys be blessed, and we'll be back at you.